are some of the things that will enable 5G to be as fast and as amazing, and that gushy layer of coolness that cements all your stuff together. So they're saying, look, you're pretty close to it, is kind of what AT&T is trying to get at, which, as Greg points out, is horribly disingenuous. Especially, I met a couple days ago with some of the people at Qualcomm who are building some of those advanced 5G networks, and they're like, and part of the reason, if I can just rant for a second.
Yeah, please do.
Part of the reason this is frustrating is because 5G is actually very close. We've been talking about it for years and years and years, and at an MWC, in just a few weeks, we're going to see some of the phones for the first time. We're going to have networks that you can actually use in the next couple of weeks or months. So 5G is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And yet AT&T is like, yeah, you know, some phones in some neighborhoods, so let's just call them 5G.
Yeah.
It's close to 5G.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's not 5G. I mean, that's the thing. They say 4GE almost there. I mean, I don't know, something. They come up with some other kind of a term, but it's
maddeningly confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, especially to consumers who are just really starting to understand what 5G is. You know, we're in the tech industry, and maybe you who are watching the show probably have a little more knowledge than even the common person just about 5G. But I mean, I think getting the proper education and communication about how this is going to work out there is really important. And when you do things like these marketing stunts, I look at it the same way everybody always says, oh yeah, no, it's got AI in it. Well, it doesn't really have AI in it necessarily. But
buzzwords that we're throwing around.
Yeah, and so this 5G part is very very frustrating to me. Anyway,
and one quick note there about that. So you will only see the icon if you're in certain limited neighborhoods that have this advanced form of 4G LTE. So it won't be everybody with an iPhone that just starts seeing this all of a sudden. Small clarification. But if you do see it, again, you don't have 5G.
No,
I'm sorry.
because your device isn't capable of handling it.
No.
Taking a look here, some of the comments, Brian says, I think they all need to focus more on coverage at this point as a higher priority than the next speed boost. That's a good point, because that's one of the things with 5G is to actually have this roll out, there's a lot of infrastructure to build out on this, because you have to have basically, the big towers that we have now for 4G, you can't have that. You have to have a whole bunch of neighborhood towers, or neighborhood, what would you even call it? Like neighborhood receivers.
The term that they use is densification. The idea being that you have a lot of smaller repeaters that you'll scatter around neighborhoods in order to get the same amount of coverage. So again, I was just down talking to Qualcomm. They argue that they've actually advanced the technology to the point that we won't need the level of densification that people have been worrying about. Which, if that's true, phenomenal. That's great. Yeah. That's why we have hardware engineers working on making this stuff better.
Right. Taking a look here, Intellect T says, so is this AT&T 5GE icon false advertising?
Absolutely, 100%. I'm sorry, it just is.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not 5G. I mean, that's 5G. The bottom line.
And it's a term that they've come up with to make it look like 5G. It's 5GE. Yeah. Not necessarily 5G, it's 5GE. No, right. I think it is. I think it's very misleading.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Just taking a look here at this, the AT&T side, and we've got a whole article at Digital Trends that you can take a look at too. So let us know what you think. And clearly, there's a lot of people with their comments that are coming through about this because it's confusing. I mean, and we're all excited for 5G to be here, but it's just not yet.
No, it is in some neighborhoods.
Well, I mean, okay,
in
certain specific neighborhoods. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry, certain specific neighborhoods.
And especially throughout 2019, we're going to see a lot of news. So this is why this AT&T news is so frustrating and maddening. Because as companies like AT&T and Verizon and Sprint and T-Mobile are building out their networks, we're getting there. We're going to see that throughout 2019 especially. And meanwhile, some people are on 5GE and some people are on 5G. It's like, oh, gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't muddy these already confusing waters.
Right, they are. So that's where that's at. Take a look at that, digitaltrends.com. Let us know what you think. We got time for one more quick story here that I wanted to get to, and especially to get your opinion, Jeremy, as editor-in-chief of a publication, a digital publication right here. So Reddit. If we have fans of Reddit out there, and probably a lot of you are, go on to Reddit for some kind of reason. Yeah, me too. So Reddit has an interesting thing going on. They're trying to raise up to $300 million more to possibly get a $3 billion valuation. Now, what that means is this. Where this all boils down to for you, the people who go on Reddit, is we're probably going to see more advertising on Reddit. Yeah. How do we feel about that? And Jeremy, you could probably explain this even better to everybody out there, like what this actually means and how it's going to affect everybody.
So my takeaway from this whole story, so yeah, Reddit looking for what's called their Series D round of funding, because the Series A, B, and C funding has gotten them as far as they are today. But clearly they're not sufficient as a business, or else they would not need additional funding. So they need funding to keep doing and growing and doing more. So they're looking for they've got an extra $150 million. They're looking for possibly another $150 million. As a company, at some point, you need to have a business model that's sustainable such that you can keep running as a business. If you have to keep seeking out funding, yes, that does give them a higher valuation. Maybe they're worth, you can extrapolate that the company's worth $3 billion. But if they're not making money, they're not really worth $3 billion, right?
Yeah, it's just you have that in the bank or whatever.
So, to Greg's earlier point, yeah, we're probably going to see more advertising. Their theory is that they've got, I forget the exact number, they've got over 1 billion video views per month. And the idea is maybe we'll see pre-roll in front of those videos, and that's perhaps how Reddit's going to make money. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to see a whole bunch of pre-roll on Reddit.
And Reddit's kind of one of those places you can go to where you don't have to deal with a ton of advertising. But then again, how do they make money on that?
That's the challenge with Reddit.
Charge more per advertiser? I mean, there's probably a limit on what you can actually
Or sponsored posts, perhaps?
Sponsored posts? Well, and they do have sponsored posts on there. So, I mean,
but how much money are they making from those posts?
Yeah.
Clearly not
enough. Clicking on those. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. And they are owned by a very big publisher. Condé Nast actually owns Reddit, so that's kind of an interesting side to it too. That I kind of look at. It's just like, well, okay, well then how come we can't figure this out? One interesting stat though is that this was actually posted on LinkedIn. Reddit now collects about 30 cents in revenue per user per year. By contrast, Facebook collects $25 per user per year. So
there's the fundamental problem right there.
That's a big difference.
And so they obviously need to work on their business model and figure out what they're doing such that they can make. So here's the question, and let's throw this out to you, the audience. If there were more ads, would you keep going to Reddit? If there was something that you knew was extrapolating money and value from you, the reader, would you keep going to Reddit? Because they have to change in some way in order to make this work as a business.
Right, and if you enjoy the content, there's got to be advertising. That's how these things are supported.
Or something else.
Or maybe some kind of.
Maybe it's a community. You have to pay $10 to get to Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Would you still go? Because you're still talking to the same people, you're getting the same content, but it's going to cost you $10 a month. Would you still do it?
Right. Yeah. It's an important question to figure out. I mean, just as everybody's figuring out, you gotta make some money somehow on these things, and not everything's going to be for free, or it's going to be completely ad supported, and you have to have advertisements on everything.
Although what's going to be free is the Ferraris that we get for that show that we're working on.
Boom.
That's what I've been thinking about lately, is getting a free Ferrari.
That was perfect. Perfect timing. Bill, if you want to come on here too, please send us an email once again. All right, we need to go to break. I'm running over. Jeremy Kaplan, thank you so much for coming in here today.
Always a pleasure.
This is awesome. And thank you, everybody, for sticking around here with us, because we've got a lot coming up on the show. Up next, Kim Wetzel, Smart Home Editor, going to be joining us. And then following that, we've got Chaz Tanase, who's going to be joining us from Go Nation. Lots of people hopping here on the show today, and we're doing it all live, broadcasting live to you, taking your comments and questions as they come through. So keep those coming in. I'm Greg Nibbler, back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you everyone for tuning in wherever you're finding us. We do appreciate it. Drop in those comments and questions throughout the show. We are live and I do love reading the different comments that come through. So Raymond, hello to you. And I'm Greg Nibbler and hello to Kim Wetzel. Hello,
Hi,
Kim.
How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us here today. Kim is our smart home editor here at Digital Trends. We're going to talk about something that I think is probably something that we're all starting to get into, which is having more cameras at home.
Yes.
Security cameras. They're everywhere. I personally just got the Ring doorbell.
You did?
Finally. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. I'm obsessed with it and I stare at it way too much.
Which model did you get?
I got the original. I was just like, okay, I'll just, ease into it.
99 bucks too.
99 bucks.
Great deal.
Yep, I can sit there, I can talk through the microphone, I can, annoy people if I want to, but yeah, it's it's fun. I scared a FedEx guy the other day on accident. But with these more and more security cameras that are coming through, we also hear stories about security cameras getting hacked, or do we want to always be on camera? And I thought maybe, for you coming in here, you wanted to kind of walk through some of the different cameras that are coming out right now, because they're starting to be more than just like a doorbell.
Right.
They're showing up everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about Ring, and we should mention that Ring now has it's a door view cam. It's essentially a peephole doorbell.
Yeah, which like slides into like somebody. So if you're in an apartment and you just have a peephole or something like that.
Yeah, which at first at CES we gave this this camera the home security award, because what it does is it gives renters the option to have a doorbell camera that doesn't, require them to drill into the side of their door frame, or hardwire something in that their landlord may not appreciate.
Which is great because it gives more people that option.
Right, but I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, how is the person across the hall from this, person with the camera going to think about having the doorbell right there on
constantly, possibly being filmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so it's kind of becoming more, of a heated debate about privacy issues and what does that mean exactly? Where does our right to film people on our porch, where does our right to protect our property end, and where does the privacy rights of others start to become?
And that's something
infringed?
I don't feel like a lot of us have ever really thought about, because we haven't had this possibility to have this much technology in our hands.
Yeah, so last week I actually wrote an opinion piece about this because Panasonic came up with this idea called the Home Hawk floor lamp. Home Hawk.
That's kind of an intimidating name.
Yeah, so basically it's a regular benign looking floor lamp that, we're seeing it on the screen right now. That has a little built-in camera. And if you look at it, it just looks like a modern floor lamp. And this, I gotta tell you, this kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm the smart home editor, and I'm supposed to, love everything, all technology.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't know, it kind of bothers me a little bit.
Well, because
ekes me out a little bit.
Yeah, because you go in and you're not going to know that it's there. I think maybe it's just the fact that you don't know it. Like, it's one thing if somebody has a security camera in this corner of their house or something.
Exactly.
You know what that is. You walk into the situation, but the more these become kind of the norm of having hidden cameras, it is a little bit discomforting.
Absolutely. Think about all the places this lamp could exist that you may not even...
Hotel rooms.
Hotel rooms?
Yeah.
The bedroom of your, guy or gal you just started dating.
Right.
Doctor's offices. What's next? Are we going to have a spying couch? Are we, what else is spying on me?
Yeah.
I wonder.
So this is the Home Hawk lamp is what we were talking about from Panasonic for that one. So it's the camera in just a lamp. And for those of you watching live, let us know what you think. Do you think that's a good thing? More cameras better for home security or something like that? This one seems a little bit beyond home security, because if you're hiding it, I feel like half the deterrent for somebody breaking in is seeing the camera and being like, oh, I'm on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Crap, let me get out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, no, go ahead, rob me. I want to see what you do. I don't know. It's
or think about Airbnb rentals, There's been a few instances where people have found these cameras that were hidden in there and, put them in benign objects like lamps and couches, and then you might be pretty freaked out.
Right. Yeah, so these are just some of the things that we're talking about here, just with home security cameras, and are they going too far? Is there enough? Because as somebody, like I said, who just got the Ring doorbell, I think it's great. It's definitely a deterrent, but it's also very visible. You walk up to my house, you can see that I have one, which hopefully would deter somebody, because the whole thing's supposed to be about security, right?
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Didn't you had somebody steal a package off your porch once, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
which is why I'm really excited to have this on there now.
Yeah.
You know, because I can at least, if they do, then at least I have their image. So be forewarned.
Right.
But I'm not doing it secretly.
Right. You're not doing. I mean, and at this point, Ring is a pretty big household name. Like,
Yeah.
people know what it is.
Pretty recognizable.
Right.
When you walk up there.
Right. And you can, you can yell at the person too via your phone if you see somebody.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that is kind of
again, we like security cameras. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I don't know what's next. What are they going to put in?
Yeah.
A security camera in next.
Well, and that's one of the other things that we wanted to bring up is just cameras being put in all kinds of things. A lot of you may have seen this story. We've got an article on digitaltrends.com about Walgreens and something that they're talking about incorporating in, which are smart refrigerators, but the refrigerators have facial ID scanners and cameras in them. So when you go up to purchase something, it scans your face and it pays attention to it, makes an assessment of your age and gender, and then pays close attention to what you purchase.
Yeah. Does that sound creepy to you? It sounds creepy to me.
Yes. I was talking about this to Riley Wynn the other day, and I'm just like, I don't want them knowing exactly what I'm buying because, maybe I'm buying things I know I don't need to get a Pepsi right now or whatever. But I mean, just the idea though that they're tracking it, and the whole thing behind it is for more marketing.
Yes.
So that they can market to you and they can tailor advertisements to you when you show up.
Right. I don't know why this just feels more invasive than the home security camera they might have, in the corner of said Walgreens to, record crime.
Crime is one thing. If it's for marketing, that's just a different issue that I feel like, maybe it's something we have to get used to. Maybe it is. What do you think? Is it something that we have to get used to? Or is it something that maybe we need to scale this back a little bit?
I think, honestly, we're going to have to get used to cameras everywhere in places where we might be doing shopping, where we might be conducting business. I just think it's going to become the new reality.
Yeah.
If we're seeing, smart refrigerators in Walgreens, it's Walgreens.
If we can't trust our Walgreens, who can we trust?
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know. I think about all the times I just stand in front of the fridge and I'm like dumbly looking at everything and I'm like, oh no, they've been recording me maybe the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just a little like personally creepy, but I think that it might be the new norm. And I don't know if there's going to be like mass pushback or not on this idea, but we're seeing incremental increases in the where cameras are placed, what types of devices they're placed in. I think it's going to be the new norm.
I'm seeing a question here from Intellect T. The worry is, do IoT devices have any security protocols? And
that's another topic altogether.
Yeah, we've got a whole thing at Digital Trends just about, there's a new one, a Nest camera that was hacked into, and these hackers started yelling things at the family. They were looking at them through the camera. They were able to control their heat and turn the heat up to 90 degrees.
Their Nest camera, or their Nest thermostat.
Yeah, and it turns out because they probably used the standard password that came with it.
Yes.
So change your password.
Yeah, in every one of there's actually been like 3 or 4 Nest hacks in the last couple weeks actually, and in almost every case, they never changed. They were using the default password, so they didn't like customize the password. But there was the one instance of the family was hanging out and somebody hacked their camera and said, there's a missile, missiles are being launched from North Korea. Did you hear about this?
No.
And
that's terrible.
The little boy or the little kid was freaked out, hid under the rug. Like, I don't know, like they were going to.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, these things are occurring. IoT devices definitely need to be worried about that. Smartphone security is only so, as great as it is until it gets hacked. And then, then people
then it's more an invasion. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the vehicle. Well, there's a lot to talk about it with clearly. And there's going to be more and more of these devices. But let us know what you think, and go there and check out Kim's opinion article on security cameras, and that's all there at Digital Trends.
Yeah, and also I should mention we have how not to get how not to. Excuse me.
That was my fault. I started that.
How to prevent your security cameras from getting hacked. That's going to go live on our site
that's
today.
great.
So, yeah, keep an eye out for that.
I will find out how to keep my new doorbell from getting hacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call.
I'll be reading that. So check that out at digitaltrends.com. Kim, thank you so much for hopping in here. And coming up next here on Digital Trends Live, we're going to be joined by Chaz Tanasi to talk about Go Nation. So very excited to find out how they're incorporating local businesses with the communities and how this app all works. So we're going to be talking to him about that. Drop in your comments and questions as we go through. And like T said, Kim is cool.
That's true.
All right. Awesome. Wow.
Thanks.
All right. I'm Greg Nibbler, back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Drop in your comments and questions as we go through the show. I'm Greg Nibbler, and right now we are very excited to have joining us Chaz Tanasi. He is the CEO and co-founder of Go Nation. Hello, Chaz.
Hey, how you doing, Greg?
Doing great. Thanks for coming on here today. I was just on your platform earlier today. It looks very interesting the way that you've kind of, well, number one, the layout is very nice, actually. I got to say, the layout's very easy to use. But I wanted to just kind of walk through your interesting background of how you formed this company. And we're going to get into what exactly Go Nation is. But your backstory is you were a nightclub promoter. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a nightclub promoter for about 15 years.
How does one go from, nightclub promoter to CEO and founder of a tech company?
I got to tell you, it wasn't the path I thought I was going to take. And it was definitely a more strenuous path than I thought it was originally going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. But yeah, so I was promoting nightclubs all over Connecticut and New York, and eventually in Miami. And, during the nighttime, I was the guy that everyone would call and try to find out where they were going to go. And during the day, I was the guy that the businesses would reach out to and say, hey, can you promote my business or can you bring business to me?
So you never slept, basically.
I never slept, no. No, I still don't sleep, so nothing's changed there. At least. The environment's a lot different, though.
Right.
Really what happened was I became a web developer for local businesses and building local business websites, and they constantly asked for the same thing. And then when I noticed all the phone calls and all the emails I would get, or Facebook even messages from all the people that wanted to know where to go, they would ask me the very similar questions about the data that these restaurants and local businesses wanted to promote. And really, it's just what they have going on right now. What their menu special is, who has the best this, who has the best that. And it all kind of came together when I was doing an event down in Miami, and I came downstairs into the hotel and no one knew where to go. And they all came up to me because they knew I was throwing the event. And pretty much I was like, I can't believe this is happening in Miami. I thought this was only maybe in Connecticut or in the Northeast. Miami is Miami. It's awesome.
Right.
And, I saw people go into their phones. They were on their Facebooks. They were on Google and Yelp, and they were just trying to find out where they wanted to spend the next 15 minutes of their time, and they couldn't do it. So, I realized that the problem was much bigger than just in Connecticut, and I decided to I needed to make a digital version of myself, a scalable platform where local businesses could go on and promote freely to their geographic location and where users can go in and get that information. So, and it evolved into something much bigger.
Yeah, clearly. You got it off the ground. It's out there right now. So for Go Nation, I guess maybe, and you kind of answered the question there. So it's for both local businesses to promote what they have going on, but do you make it easy for people to find things if you're, say, you're a tourist in the town? You know, I'm coming into New York, you know, and I'm like, all right, I'm in this neighborhood. What do I do now that I'm here?
Exactly.
How is this, just to ask you about it, how is this platform different than like, you know, Yelp or Foursquare or different applications that are out there?
Yeah, I think Yelp and Foursquare are good platforms when it comes down to reviews and, you know, mainly reviews. If you want to really dive deep into a small business and kind of see a history of what people thought about their experience, then those are decent platforms. But where they're missing the mark is, you know, they're local advertising platforms that have reviews, and the local business has very little control on those type of platforms to communicate freely with an open market. So you're not getting the data from the actual person that's running the business. You're just getting data that's kind of, you're getting an experience from someone else sharing it, and it could be last week, it could be 3 months ago. You know, that doesn't solve the problem right now. And I think a lot of the mark is missed in local discovery in the generals, because local advertising initially limits local discovery. And that's the thing that we all want, right? We want to know, like, who's got the happy hour right now and how can I go experience it? Or what event is happening at the mall in every one of the stores because I happen to go there in 30 minutes. And for you to find that information now, you have to go through 15, 20 platforms, and you still might not even find it.
Right.
So the big difference is that, you know, static data is what I would consider those platforms, and we're a relevant real-time pulse of a city that you can discover in the moment.
That's a great answer. I mean, that actually sums it up pretty well. So, because you're right, you know, if you are trying to find something in a neighborhood, you can go to Facebook or go to Twitter, try to search something. But yeah, it is kind of a pain. So that's definitely a problem that you seem to be solving with that. So how does one? Let's talk about the actual interaction. So, do you go through the app? Do you go through a website? What's the easiest way, and how do people interact with it?
Yeah. So, you know, it is an app, so you can go into Android and the iOS store, and you can absolutely download it. Web has got a very similar experience. We were built mobile first, so everything in the web is just kind of a way to translate. That's why when you go to the homepage, it almost looks like a Pinterest, because when you have that much data and you want to give it like a good bird's eye view of a city, you have to give them a lot of data in a big amount of time, and then you have to be able to scale it down.
Right.
So we were designed in mobile first. You're going to get a very similar experience on our website through a browser, as well as the app and the Android. But the app and Android are going to have, you know, better features, and it's going to be a little bit smoother just because it's native based. So you know, it's built within the device. But you can get the full experience on all three, and you can get the full experience for the business on all three as well.
So, so where are you at right now? How many different locations? How many different communities? I do want to note too, Joseph on Facebook just chimed in. Yay, Go Nation! Love this app, with about 1 million exclamation points. So, so that's good.
Thank you.
So yeah. So what communities are involved? Where are you at right now, and where do you see it expanding to?
Yeah, so right now we're at 46 cities. We're powering 46 cities. What we mean by power is that we have the pulse of the data in those cities that's streaming freely, and it's fully searchable down to the menu ingredient, where you can search every single menu in Norwalk, Connecticut, and find out, you know, where they have steak and cheeses at every restaurant, or find out what items have olives in it. We've made some partnerships with some larger cities that we're going to be releasing over the next 30 days. Where we're going to actually be the hub for all of their local business information. And, you know, going into where I see the future is you know, you kind of have to look at like where we are in society and where we are with technology. As the attention spans get even lower with the amount of content at your fingertips, relevant data is going to win, and static data is going to start slowly disappearing until it's just vanished. And it's because people want to know what's happening right now. They don't want to have to spend their time searching for information that should be, you know, right there. And our platform is going to be able to provide that. And then the other side of that is, you know, this data, one thing we don't believe in is local advertising. So our mechanism for making money is actually sharing the data to outside platforms and making everybody as powerful as our own platform. And when you do that, you basically say, relevant local information is going to be dispersed throughout the internet. And that's where we're going to go.
Okay, interesting. So you curate the data and then you send that data out.
Yep.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Well, Chaz, congratulations on getting this going. I mean, I know you said you thought it was going to be easy, and I highly doubt it was. That's a lot of work to build a platform like this. But yeah, 46 cities, I think is what you said right now, and where you're going from there. So definitely everybody out there, you can download the app and go to the website and check that out. Chaz, thank you so much for hopping on here to talk about this.
Thanks, Ray. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. All right, so there we go. Go Nation, really exciting. Finding out about somebody who, maybe there's somebody out there who wanted to, develop an app and what that takes to do it. It's a lot of work, but if you have the right vision, it looks like you can succeed. So Go Nation, you can check that out right there. We're going to be taking a break here because we have another guest who's going to be joining us here in just a moment. We have Dan Ferguson, and he is going to be talking about some of the really cool mixed reality events that are happening at the AT&T Pebble Beach tournament. So that's the Pro-Am golf tournament that's happening, I believe tomorrow is actually when it starts. But there's some really interesting ways that mixed reality, virtual reality, 360-degree videos are all being incorporated into that. So how is tech jumping into the sports world? So we're going to discuss that here in a minute. We'll be right back with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Wherever you're finding us, we really do appreciate it. Broadcasting live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you tech headlines and interviews. And we've got a really great interview coming up right now. So different ways to engage in media, in sports, and entertainment, and events is something we're always looking forward to here at Digital Trends. And we've got somebody who's doing pretty much all of that right now who's joining us. We've got Dan Ferguson, who is the Executive Vice President of Digital Interactive and Partner at Groove Jones. Hello, Dan.
Hi, guys.
So you're in your hotel room right now, from what I understand. I'm going to guess you're probably down in California because you guys are interacting and working with the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Yes, we are. So we're in Monterey, California right now, probably heading down to the golf course here in an hour or so.
Wow. So, and it all starts tomorrow, I believe, right? It's February 7th when it actually begins?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about some of the different things. You've got some mixed reality events that you're doing and some different things that are happening here at the tournament. Why don't we just start off from the beginning, though, and maybe just explain who is Groove Jones and maybe what it is that you do and how you develop the different platforms that you're developing.
Sure. So Groove Jones is a studio. We're based out of Dallas, Texas. We're a next generation agency, meaning that we're not a traditional agency where they do a lot of video productions and commercial productions like that. We work with a lot of the next generation technologies, augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, AI, and we're using those technologies for a lot of advertising and marketing programs. So this is all kind of, this is really new. We're kind of out there striking a path out there because a lot of this stuff has never been done before. So we're trying to use these technologies to connect with consumers with their brands.
That's a fascinating way because, like you said, you are kind of out there just in that, as much as people know about virtual reality and even mixed reality to some extent, there's still a lot of people who haven't actually tried it out and had been able to experience it. I'm sure for brands, that's kind of a new thing, too, for them trying to understand how they can utilize it in different events. Like, how can this be something where I show up at an event and I can use this? So how are you working right now with Pebble Beach? Like, what kinds of things are you implementing there?
Well, so I don't know if you've seen one of these. This is the Magic Leap 1. So this is a headset that is an augmented reality headset. And you can kind of see right now through the lens that it's transparent. So this allows people, once they put it on, they're allowed to see the outside. They're allowed to see around them. So they're not being closed off, which is nice. And then we're able to overlay digital content that's smart. It's smart content. So it realizes where it is in the space. You can interact with it, so which is really exciting and fun. And then we're allowed to also utilize some physical objects as well. So because it's interactive, we can gamify it. It could be educational. It could be narrative. And so we're using it in a lot of different ways. So this is one of the experiences that we have going on with AT&T. We have a couple others going on, but for this one, this is going to be used for the Jordan Spieth golf club, golf bag experience. And so we're bringing his golf bag, the actual clubs that he uses on the tournament, to life, and to add a new layer of content to that, to where he can connect with some of the fans there.
So that's interesting. So you show up, and these are probably stations, I would imagine, that you go to for this, and it's Magic Leap 1 that you're using for the HoloLens. Why is it that you chose Magic Leap?
Well, AT&T, first of all, AT&T is one of the only, they're the primary, or I guess they're the exclusive wireless provider, reseller of the hardware. So that's one reason why we selected that for the tournament today. But it has a, it's similar to some other headsets out there, but it also has some better things around it. It has a little wider field of view, and the interaction points are very intuitive. So you'll notice right here, here you have the headset, and here you have the processor. Whereas some of the other headsets put everything on top of the head, which makes it weigh a little bit more. The HoloLens is lighter because a lot of the processing is being done on this puck, which you clip onto your belt. So it's really nice as far as putting it on your head. It's really light. You're allowed to freely move around. It is wireless in the sense that I could freely walk around the room with it.
Yeah, because it's just a pack.
Around the room, the cameras are scanning the room. So it's a really great piece of technology.
I think that's an interesting use of it, you know, using a celebrity, an athlete like Jordan Spieth, you know, so you're interacting with something that he would do, which makes it kind of a different experience than you normally get at a sporting event. Where else do you see this going? Like what other kinds of uses do you see for something like this?
Well, I mean, I think there's obviously a huge use for training. So because I'm wearing a headset and because I can look at what I'm doing, it's not like virtual reality where that kind of closes you off. Mm-hmm. This allows me to see what I'm physically touching and what I'm looking at in the physical world. So as far as training goes, I think it's going to be a huge piece of technology that is used to apply to looking at something, being able to pull up videos or be able to pull up interactive digital content, holograms, to see how to work with these, the things that I'm working with. I also think it's going to be used for entertainment. I mean, it's obviously can be used as a gaming device, which I may be using my living room or my bedroom or, you know, my house, my backyard as a playground to interact with digital content.
Fantastic. So a lot of different uses that we can see with this. And I do like the idea of, you know, entertainment events and different kind of events and figuring out different ways to interact with those. And one of the other things that's going on, so it's, from what I was reading up about it, so the Pebble Beach tournament is going to be broadcast in 4K HDR, but with 360-degree video as well. Yep. So what can you tell us about that? Because that's a different kind of experience as well.
Yeah, so we've got 360 cameras out here on the course, and they are capturing the content at various holes, and people will be able to stream that and view that, I believe, through mobile devices.
So you can take a look and actually be involved there and have that 360-degree experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just another way. I mean, there's multiple technologies that are being rolled out here. In the past, they've had Jordan's golf bag here that people can actually pull out the clubs and take a look at. We do have that here right now. But we've overlaid this whole nother level of interactivity underneath what is called the domes that we have built out here. So under the fan domes, there's going to be various stations that people can walk up, they can touch the physical clubs, they can then interact with the pieces, or they can interact with the content that's around Jordan. There is a really cool piece that we did. It's called Swing Print. And I don't know if you read up anything about that, but that is where we have taken a series of clubs and we've attached trackers to them. And so I could pick up a club, and as I do a couple golf swings, or if I'm you know, you can really move it however you want to. But as I do a couple swings, we're tracking where you are swinging in the space, and then we're overlaying some really cool artwork that is being created by your swings. So it is a custom piece of artwork that you are creating with a golf club that is being tracked in 3D space.
That's pretty cool. My swing is terrible, so anything that you could do with that would probably help it out tremendously.
Well, it'll make you look like a good artist, because I think the worse you are, the better it is.
Good. I'm probably an amazing artist then, when it comes down to that. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us too. So again, Dan's with Groove Jones, but we're talking about the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am starting tomorrow. Where can people follow what you're doing? If you're not at the tournament, if you're at the tournament, definitely go find the Fan Dome. But where else can people follow along? Oh, and that was when it just cut out. Well, I'll tell you. You can watch on AT&T. Oh wait, Dan, is Dan back? Of course, that would happen with tech right at the end. Dan, thank you for joining us. Where can people follow along with the tournament?
I think they're definitely going to be able to watch this on the show, on the wherever the PGA show is being broadcast.
Okay.
I believe it is also being launched online.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have that link with me right now. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Dan, thank you so much for joining us again, talking about the different ways that mixed reality is being used in the tournament with the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am tournament that's starting off tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we have had an eventful show today. So Digital Trends Live broadcasts every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all kinds of tech headlines, different topics, different things that are going on in the world of tech, all while broadcasting live. So just kind of recap what we had going on today. We had Jeremy Kaplan in here earlier today to talk about some of the big things that are going on in tech. We have the Facebook Messenger now allowing you to unsend a message. We've got an article at Digital Trends kind of walking you through that, how to do that. Reddit raising a bunch of money. Are we going to get a bunch of ads on it? We don't know. AT&T 5GE and what that means and how that's all working. We discussed all of that. We had Kim Wetzel in here, our smart home editor, to talk about security cameras just showing up everywhere. She's got an opinion piece on that at digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at. We had Chaz in here, Chaz Tanasi, talking about Go Nation, a really neat app trying to figure out a way to filter basically all that information that's out there about local events down to one streamlined place where you can take a look in real time. Interesting platform that he's developing. And then we just had Dan on talking about the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am golf tournament and the mixed reality events that they have going in there. Coming up this week, because we're not done. Tomorrow, we're going to be back here. Let me take a look here. I'm going to look with you right now. Oh, I know what we have. We have Kurt Beidler, the Amazon GM of Kids and Family. He's not going to be on tomorrow, so that one's going to be changed up there. The rep. Oh, okay, that's not on. So, okay, Kurt Beidler is going to be on. I'm getting notifications. Did I say we're broadcasting live? So we're just getting notifications right now. Things changed because we're live. But Kurt is going to be on. So the Amazon GM of Kids and Family. So he's going to be joining us, and we have lots of things that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Caleb Dennison going to be here for the news. So I know we have some Caleb fans out there, and I'm a fan of everybody who's watching. So however you're watching us, hit that subscribe button to make sure you're notified every time we are live, which is 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, right here with Digital Trends Live. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode.